All right, we are live again in Microsoft Flight Simulator tonight. Welcome everybody to another stream. We are at the Mumbai airport uh, here in India, and yeah, this is a special stream. It's Friday night. I had a hell of a week at work. Everyone is asleep at home. It's a quarter to midnight here on the East Coast, but I am here doing a stream because I just need to distress. But I am multitasking tonight because I am on dad duty watching the baby monitor as my two little boys sleep peacefully upstairs in their room. So hopefully there won't be any in-flight emergencies where I then have to go upstairs and make sure that those two cuties stay in their bed and stay asleep. But anyway, enough of that. Back to the sim. What are we doing tonight? We are again in Mumbai, India, and tonight we are flying to Delhi. We're at Terminal 2, I think, of the Mumbai International Airport. We have this free scenery that I downloaded off of flightsim.to, and it is pretty awesome. Like, the detail is pretty excellent. You see these parking stands are pretty dynamic with these jet bridges that kind of just fork off. I'm assuming to accommodate larger airframes like A380s that could potentially use two jetways at once. But we are here at stand Victor 28 right. And I think, yeah, we're actually appropriately at the A320 marker there. Looking pretty good. Very cool scenery. Haven't looked at our operating flight plan tonight, so I'm not sure how long our taxi is, but hopefully we'll be able to get to a good tour of the rest of this airport scenery on our way to our runway tonight. All right. So quick preamble about what these streams are about. I do real-world operations A320 simulations. I do it to the best of my ability as an aviation enthusiast. I am not a pilot. I do not have a pilot's license, although I do aspire to get one eventually. These flights have been inspired by other simmers that I've learned a ton from online, and just by doing a lot of research and independent study, effectively trying to do my own ground school before I commit to getting my PPL sometime down the line. So yeah, we'll try to keep things as realistic as possible, but I do rely on the Twitch and YouTube community to keep me honest. If I'm doing things incorrectly, or if I could be doing things better, I encourage you to please let me know how I can improve. All right. Okay, anything else before we jump in? Other than that, we are doing an around the world journey. I think this is the 16th leg we are doing. We started in Newark, New Jersey, and we have made our way around the world 2 hours at a time, visiting very interesting places along the way. And the destination is Newark, just approaching from the west. So we're making our way across Asia now before we go back into North America, some number of flights in the future. I'm also looking for suggestions for interesting places to fly. So we're a few flights away from a really interesting one where I think after Delhi we'll be heading to Kathmandu, and then Kathmandu will be heading to Paru, which is world famous for their very challenging approaches. But yeah, if there's any other destinations, kind of along our route around the world that is worth checking out, I'd be happy to alter my flight plan and go see some interesting sights with you all. Great. So with all that, I think it's time. I've spoken way too much already. Let's jump into the cockpit where it is currently cold and dark, and we'll get things rolling, prioritizing power, of course. Oh no! That was a crash to desktop. Goodness gracious. My apologies. So, that was me trying to use the experimental version of the fly-by-wire mod, but that did not work out well. So I'm actually going to hop back to the development version real quick. And we'll get the sim restarted. My apologies. But much better that happened now instead of, halfway through the flight. I've been going back and forth between the experimental version and the development version because, I really love the TCAS features and the LNAV features in the experimental version. But of course, using the experimental version, you have a higher chance of failures like the one we just saw. So it'll be a few minutes before we get this back online. course, if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, you can just fast forward until you see the sim load up again. All right, just about there. All right, the development version is back on. Get VPilot back online. That looks good, and now let's hop back into Flight Sim. Just waiting for it to load up. All right. Good old Asobo logo. People like to hit on the Asobo guys for all the bugs in the game, but honestly, what they have built is absolutely incredible. Having worked in the games industry in the past, just the amount of work that goes into building something like this is absolutely astronomical. And I still say that, even though we experienced a very frustrating and crashed desktop. My operating flight plan had us departing in 8 minutes. That is not going to happen. So if you're just joining us, we were in the cockpit, cold and dark. We just turned on the batteries, and then we had to crash a desktop. Oh yes, dad duty. Yes, the conceit of this flight tonight is that I'm doing this sim while also watching my sons on the baby monitor, and while we're doing that, while we're in cruise, I'm happy to talk about anything dad related if it's of interest. But yes, I'm in the basement trying to do a simulation, trying to do a stream, while my boys are peacefully sleeping upstairs. Alright, so let's get back in here. Let's adjust our weights and balances. I like to start with around 10% of fuel, because I feel like that's more realistic. Payload down to 0. We are flying from Mumbai, and we were at Victor 28 right. Flight conditions, multiplayer air traffic's off because we'll be on VATSIM, and we're doing a live weather in time. That all looks good, and let's try this again. I have 2 sons. I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. Are you a parent yourself? Man, look at that runway. That is short and on a slope. I need to figure out where that is. That's insane. How'd you even land on that? It's fascinating. Alright, so I must apologize again. This might take a little bit to load because whenever you install a new version of the fly-by-wire A320 mod, the last 10% of loading can take quite a bit. I have a feeling this viewer in the chat is the same person who's been showing up the last few nights. Welcome back, I think. Though your profile picture and name keeps changing. Alright, we're almost back there. Thanks for bearing with us. I think the progress bar is a lie. Looks done, but we're still waiting. Alright, there we go. We're back. So let us try this again. First, let me get my my charts reloaded. Oh, yeah, they're gonna need to resync that up. All right, and we're back there. Good. So, and we do have our flight plan loaded. We do. Okay, great. I think we are back in business. So let's do this. We were about to power on batteries 1, 2, lights, external power. Great. It works. Nav and logos, let folks know we're here. Get some no smoking emergency lights on. We'll keep seatbelt signs off and the fuel pumps off because we're going to do some refueling. Cruise supply on. Ground control to auto. Get those navs aligned. Do our APU fire tests before we power that on. And then start that APU. 1, 2, 3. And we start that APU because that allows us to run the APU bleed to power the pack systems, and that is to help circulate the air in these COVID times while folks are boarding. Let's get some of these lights on. We'll do our initial cockpit preparations, and then we'll get fuel on board and get people on board. So starting with our flows down here, doors open for now, that's fine. Parking brake is set. Speed brakes are disarmed and retracted. Flaps are retracted. Weather systems off. Transponder set to standby. TCAS set to standby. Engine masters are to off. Engine mode is normal. Thrust levers are to idle, and they are functioning. We are on Unicom tonight because there is no ATC, and that reminds me, we need to connect to vPilot, to VATSIM. So let's do that real quick. That's our flight plan is still current. So that's good. Go ahead and file it. Once again, just to be safe. And okay, moving on up here. We have oxygen pressure. We have oil quantity. We have hydraulic fluid. And our APU is yeah, it looks like it is up and running. And our ECAM says APU is available. Our anti-skid is on. Clock is correct. Landing gear down. Wipers are good. And I'm going to start the APU bleed. Let's get those passengers on board. I'm flying through this just because of the delay we just had. AOC, weights in balance. We have 105 passengers tonight. And let's get them on board. Okay, now let's go to our flight pad. And get our plan from SimBrief. Mumbai to Delhi, that looks correct. Let's record our ATIS information down now. So here we have our QNH of 1015. Wind is 40 at 7 knots. Temperature is 25 degrees, quite warm, and dew point is 16 degrees. Excellent. OFP, we'll do our OFP review in a sec, but let's get that fuel going. We are looking at a block fuel of 7.6 tonight, quite heavy, so the trip fuel is pretty substantial, and our alternate is quite a bit as well. I'm just not going to make any adjustments. We'll just take that amount because that feels like plenty. So 75.85, just confirm that's what we need. 75.85, and start. All right, great. So passengers are boarding. We are refueling. Let's go ahead and get things prepped before we jump into the box. So let's look at our OFP tonight. We are flying from Mumbai to Delhi, same time zone there. It looks like we'll have about an hour and 40 minutes in the air, plenty of time to chat and cruise if there are any questions about what I'm doing in the sim, and we can also learn a little bit about the Delhi airport as we fly towards it. Max shear rate of 6.2, so it might be pretty bumpy at the top of descent, but we'll see if you should expect turbulence anywhere else. Tonight our alternate is Oscar Papa Mike Tango. Flight number is Air India 9084. Cost index is 15. Flight level expected is 390. very high tropopause tonight, and we have a headwind, which is probably impacting our fuel calculations. All right, so we looked at the fuel. We are good there. And looking at the flight plan, so I guess we're expecting to depart runway 9, and that jives with our wind data via the VABB 2 Bravo departure. And then we'll be going into Delhi. We're expecting to go via the DPass 5 Bravo arrival to runway 28, and we'll confirm that when we're in the air and we're kind of closer to our destination. All right, looking here at our various waypoint information, shear rate gets pretty high, I guess, at Nakok. So we'll just have to pay attention when we get close to Nakok. It might be bumpy all the way through to our descent, so we'll just be cognizant of that. Let's take a look at the weather and see, firstly, the departure airport. Wind is pretty calm. It kind of matches what we saw on the METAR. 2500 visibility, hazy. We can see that out our window. No significant clouds. And it's pretty much staying that way, so that's nice. Okay, so our destination airport, also winds calm, less visibility. Runway, those are the runway informations. Broken clouds, no significant clouds. So just might be kind of thick air on the way in. But quite a bit cooler than Mumbai. I'm assuming it's a bit higher in elevation. Okay, so that is our OFP. Let's get our charts organized. So, pulling up Mumbai. Yeah, let's get our airport information. Let's see if it has detailed taxiway information. Kind of, not really. Let's look at the detail 10-9B. That's what we'll need to kind of see, yeah, the taxiway detail. We are up here, Victor 28 Romeo, Victor 28 right. We'll back up onto, I guess, Bravo 4, and we'll follow. Yeah, that's really complicated, isn't it? Jeez. Yeah, so we follow Bravo, Bravo 3, Bravo 1, and runway tonight is runway 9. So we have we do have a long taxi coming all the way over here. So we should make our way down Bravo to Mike 5 to Mike 6, and go down November. Looks like pretty much all the way. Yeah, we'll go down November all the way to Whole Point November over here. Maximize the amount of runway we'll use today. Cool, so we have that. Our standard approach tonight is the VABB 2 Bravo. Get that chart. Let's take a look here and get a sense for our initial climb out. So yeah, it looks like we'll have to cross VABB at 8,000. And what is our transition? ISRIS. Okay. Yeah, so we'll set our initial climb out to 8,000. I don't see any speed restrictions other than the normal ones. And then once we hit VABB, we'll start planning our climb out. Okay, maybe we'll get a good view of the city on the way out. Let's hope. Okay, so we'll deal with the rest of the plan for descent and arrival when we're in the air. But while we're here, I'm just going to pull the ILS chart for runway 9 for we'll use the misapproach procedure for our emergency procedure. But I think just for expediency, because of the time we lost, I'm going to skip the misapproach briefing tonight. Okay. Yeah, so we'll actually close that chart. So 8,000 feet, let's get our glare shield set up. So set our initial climb out altitude to 8,000 feet. Constraints on QNH, and our QNH is 1015. Get that loaded up. And that looks good. We'll turn off the flight director here and turn these screens off because we're not going to use them. There's no co-pilot tonight. Alright, just making sure everything else is configured the way I want it. We are still, oh no, we might be done refueling, so let's go ahead and get the seatbelt sign on and get those fuel pumps on. And we're looking good for the overhead for now. Let's jump to the box and get this programmed. So data, make sure our IRSs are aligned. They are. All nav. Let's check our engines are correct, and our AirX cycle is the latest cycle. So that's all set. Hang to init 1, do our init request, confirm the data here. Mumbai to Delhi, Oscar Papa Mike Tango is our alternate, Air India 9084, constant X15, flight level 390. That's all correct. Chhatrapati is pretty close. Let's see the OFP. This is a bit higher, 52870. We'll put that in. Good. And head to our flight plan. So first thing we'll do is program our departure. We're departing runway 9 via, again, my memory is the absolute worst, but this is why we have documentation. VABB to Bravo. There it is, VABB to Bravo. And we are exiting via, again, memory, ISRIS. Excellent. So let's insert that and just validate that it looks correct on our screen here. So that's our initial climb out to 1,000, and then next is VABB to 8,000, Zopal to Mike Bravo 877, 361 to ISRIS. And then we have a discontinuity. From ISRIS, we'll just go direct to Dosto per the plan. ISRIS. Oh, I see. Via Q1. That must be part of Q1. So let's go ahead and clear the discontinuity. And that's all en route Q1 to the next. Okay. That looks fine to me. Cool. Cool, cool. Alright, rad navs. I didn't see anything on the chart that we needed to be aware of. I don't think we need any VOR information from what I can tell. There is this, yeah, that's if we were doing that departure there. But nope, I think we are good on rad navs for our departure. Next is init 2, but let's make sure that passengers are done boarding so we can get the accurate weight reading from the plane, and they are. Perfect. Good timing, everyone. So first let's do our wind so we don't have to calculate this twice. Headwind of 13. It's the first time we've had a headwind in a while. Headwind of 13. Get our weights in there. 53.4 for the zero fuel weight. That is exactly what we have there, so put that in. And block fuel tonight is 7.6. And we'll get the rest of our fuel data in there. So contingency 0.5, 2.2, and 1. So 0.5, 2.2, and 1. And that leaves us with 13 minutes of extra fuel. Fine by me. Finally, performance. I'm going to try to run through this, but I still want to do a flex takeoff if we can. So I have my flex takeoff calculator handy, and what a flex takeoff effectively is, it's just a way to take various parameters like runway length and wind and temperature, air pressure, and calculate the optimal takeoff velocity and engine settings to minimize engine wear and tear. So it kind of maximizes use of the runway that you have in order to spare maintenance on your engines, which is a good thing if you're an airline. So our runway heading is 90 degrees. Elevation is basically sea level, so I'll say 22 feet. The length in meters is 3,448. No slope. And the wind, I believe we said 40 at 7 knots. Outside air temperature is 25 degrees, so quite warm. QNH 1015. Dry conditions takeoff weight is 61 tons. Flex takeoff configuration 1. We'll take off with the packs off. You know what? We'll do packs on because it is hot. It's a bit warm. And our takeoff center of gravity, let me just find that here. I always forget where it is. Fuel prediction, yes, 24.8. And that will give us a trim of 0.8 up. So that's all of our performance parameters calculated. So I'll put that in now. We're taking off with flaps 1 and trim up 0.8. Our flex to temp tonight is 61 degrees. Transition altitude did not get picked up by the database. So let's see what it is here, 4,000 feet. And let's see what they're calculating for V1. It's going to be too slow, I'm sure, and it is. So the calculator is telling me our V1 speed, which is our decision speed, 146. Rotation speed, 147. And single engine takeoff, 148. And the box is complete. Excellent. That was really, really quick. Definitely making up for lost time. So we're going to skip the emergency briefing for now. And we're just going to do our before start checklist. And before we do that, we're on APU, so we'll disconnect from external power. And cockpit prep is complete. Gear, pins, and covers. Oh no, we haven't actually called the tug yet. So let's call the tug and then we'll do our before start checklist.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
That's a really cool detail. They have the coordinates for every single stand displayed on that sign in front of us.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft. Standing by for pushback.
Alright, so gear pins and covers are removed. Signs are to on or auto. Set our strobes to auto. Aiders are aligned. Fuel quantity is known. Takeoff data is set. Bow ref is set. And before start, down to the line. So we're going to clear ourselves and we'll just make our announcement real quick. Alright, so let's get our beacon on in preparation for engine starts. And nose wheel steering disconnect memo is displayed. Before start checklist below the line, windows and doors are closed, beacons on, thrust levels are idle, parking brake is as required. Before start checklist complete. All right, so let's push back. Mumbai traffic, Air India 9084, type A320neo at stand Victor 28 right, pushing back and beginning our start sequence. Mumbai traffic.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push. Parking brake set.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
All right, so ignition and start. Engine 2 start. Also watch where we're going. See how that's doing there? We're almost fully spooled up. Alright, engine 1 start. Oh, always get that direction wrong. Alright, let's get on this beautiful yellow line here. Since there's no other traffic, I'll just take up space. Let's see, will that get us nice and straight? Straight enough. Yeah, so let's hold here. And we'll stop pushback.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Roger. Good engine start. Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Alright, both engines are available. We're saying engine mode selector back to normal. We'll turn our APU bleed off. Engine anti-ice is not required. APU master switch off. Now that we're running on engine power. Ground spoilers are now armed. Rudder trim is 0. Flaps are going to set to takeoff 1. And pitch trim. Let's get this flight controls here. Pitch trim, we're going to go up. Oh, up 0.8. Beautiful. And while we're here, we'll just get our flight control test out of the way. Full left, full right, neutral, full down, full up, neutral, disconnect rudder from the nose wheel, full left, full right, neutral. Nooch, as they say. Alright. ECAM status looks good. APU is still spooling down. And after start checklist, anti-ice as required, ECAM status is checked, pitch trim is set, rudder trim is 0. After start checklist completes. Oh, and we have ATC. Alright, just taking down this new ATIS information. Uh, 1015, that's what we have, okay. What frequency are they on? Oh, 121.9.
Departure runway 9er. Surface wind 040.
Oh, thanks for the thanks for the follow. I'll check out your channel. All right, just preparing to contact ATC here. Mumbai ground, Air India 9084 pushed back at stand Victor 28 right. We have Alpha.
Air India 9084, Namaskar. Set squawk 0327.
Squawk 0327. Air India 9084.
Air India 9084, would you like to copy clearance for Delhi?
We are ready to copy.
Air India 9084, you're clear to destination Delhi via the VABB to Bravo departure, SS transition out of runway 09 now. Initial climb flight level 70, expect final flight level 390 and squawk is 0327.
Clear to Delhi via the VABB to Bravo departure and the ISRIS transition. Initial flight 70, expect flight level 390, squawk 0327, Air India 9084.
Air India 9084, read that is correct. Call for taxi. Break, Air India 696. You're clear to destination Delhi via the VABB to Bravo departure, SS transition out of runway 09. Initial climb, flight level 70, expect final flight level 370 and squawk is 0346.
Squawk code 0346, runway, departure runway 09, initial flight level 70, climb to flight level 370. Air India 696.
India 696, departure state, VABB to Bravo departure, is the transition.
Ground, can you repeat?
VABB to Bravo departure and ISRIS transition out of runway 09.
Cleared via Alma to Bravo. Is this correct?
Yes, sir. Call for motion start. Your read path is correct.
All right, I think we are ready for taxi. So let's get our chart up so we can copy instructions. Mumbai ground, Air India 9084, ready for taxi.
Can you repeat my transition?
And 696, transition ISRIS out of runway 09.
Transition ISRIS out of runway 09. Thank you.
And 984, would you like to taxi?
Affirmative.
And 984, taxi to holding point. Taxi to holding point November 11 for 09 via Bravo 3, Bravo 1, Mike 5, Mike 6, November 1, cross runway 14, November and November 11.
Clear to taxi to November 11409er via Bravo 3, Bravo 1, Mike 5, Mike 6, November 1, cross runway 14, November 11. Air India 9084. That is a...
Ground, can you recheck my flight plan? Is it flight level 370 or flight level 280 for Air India 696?
India 6906, your flight level is 370 according to the flight plan, sir.
3 Bravo 1, Mike 5 to Mike. Okay. And then Mike 6.
Ground permission to edit and refile my flight plan.
November 1, cross 14.
India 6906, you can go ahead.
November 1-1, I guess, comes over here. November 1-1. Okay, perfect. That's pretty straightforward. Let's roll. We'll start configuring for takeoff here. We'll do max. Slow down for this turn. And still on Bravo 3. There's our friend over there. Just got his clearance, I hope. Alright, we're on a Bravo 1, and now we're looking for a Mike 5.
Ground, can you recheck my flight plan now? Is it flight level 280 for Air India 6906?
Negative, sir. Your requested flight level is 370 according to the flight plan.
I just refiled.
And 6906, do you want me to change it from my side, sir?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, you can change if you can change my flight level to 280. That would be fine.
Roger. India 6906. And 6906, I've changed your flight plan from my end. Advise and ready to copy here.
Thank you, ground.
Lots of steering.
6906, you're clear to destination Delhi via the VABB 2 Bravo departure, express transition out of runway 09. Initial climb flight level 70, expect final flight level 280 and squawk 0346.
And here comes November.
And 6906, do you copy?
November 1. Perfect. And we take this all the way down.
Ground, give me some time.
Roger.
Alright, so while we are here, we'll do our additional preps. Radar, rig max. Weather 80 so code set. Okay.
Ground, really sorry. I will be back in 2.
Okay, I got 9696.
Weather. And ATC. This became a lot more fun. I was not expecting to have ATC tonight.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Crossing runway 14. So flight controls checked, flight instruments are checked, briefing is confirmed, flap settings confirmed, V speeds are set, ATC is set. for takeoff down to the line. We're looking for November 11. Just want to make sure. Okay, it's just ground. So we'll go to Unicom after we take off. November 8. Get more of the airport scenery here. There's the tower. That looks awesome. Start to slow down here. Even at idle, the engines are having us roll pretty quick. Make sure I don't miss this turn. This is November 10.
Ground Air India 696 need clearance for taxi.
And 696, would you like to push back facing southeast on hotel?
Push back and facing south on hotel. Copy that. Air India 696.
Alright.
Air India 984, no further ATC available, Monte Unicom 122.8, and thank you so much for flying out of Mumbai and have a great flight ahead to Delhi. Good morning.
Thank you so much again for the service. Clear for takeoff going to Unicom. Have a good rest of your day. Air India 9084. So we'll just hold here. Runway 9 is confirmed. We'll get our landing lights on. Takeoff lights, strobes are on already. I don't know when I turned those on, but didn't mean to. TCAS on. And before takeoff, below the line, runway confirmed, cabin crew is advised, TCAS is set, engine mode selector is set, packs are as required, we'll keep the packs on. And I think we are ready to roll. Okay, and turn. All right. Take off. Engines to 50%. And man flex SRS runway. Knots. E1, rotate. Positive rate gear up. Bye-bye, Mumbai. rest climb, climb. Already above the haze, pretty much. I'm just going to hand fly this for a little bit. Standard QNH. And spoilers retract. Sorry, flaps retract, spoilers disarmed. Go ahead and turn on autopilot. And since we're on Unicom, I think we had to cross VABB at 8,000, so we'll pair ourselves up to 8,000. And get our lights off here. I never turn on the overheads. In our hurry to get out of here. Packs on. Squawking just fine. I think everything looks good. And we are on Unicom. Just confirm there. Speed Alt Star. So we get any views outside here of Mumbai on our way out. So hazy. It's unfortunate. It's quite beautiful ahead, honestly. So I'm gonna see where our friend is going. Seemed like a newer pilot. It's all good, my friend. We were all there once. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, he's also heading to Delhi. So depending on how quickly he can get to the runway, he'll be behind us. Oh, and we have ATC at Delhi tonight. Oh, goodness gracious. We're getting lucky. We're crossing VABB at 8. Flight level 80, and then I think from there we can just go ahead and go up to our cruise, which, if I recall, was yeah, 390. Let's go ahead and do that now. Thrust climb, open climb. So after takeoff checklist, landing gear up, flaps retracted, packs are on, bow ref is set to standard. Do 10,000 feet checks, landing lights retract. Seatbelts as required, return them off for now. ECAM membo is clear, nav aids not applicable. Alright, 10,000 feet, checks complete. See if we get any photos here. This looks just really pretty. That's tight one. Sweet. Getting a good rate of climb. This is going to be a little inaccurate while we're climbing, but just getting a sense. Oh, I always forget to run the timer. Getting a sense of when we'll get there. Yeah, that can't be right. At least I hope not, because I don't want to be up that late. It's beautifully clear up here. Lots of clouds over there. Very curious to see how the weather evolves on our path. Oh, we probably should have cleared ourselves here. Whoopsie. No worries. Just checking out the options there. I'll just write down, I'll get the Delhi ground frequency loaded up. Oh, so it's also 121.9. Oh, and we'll probably be guided to another runway. Oh wait, 28 and 29. Oh no, never mind. We're good. Right, we're approaching Isris, which will be the end of our SID and the start of our filed flight plan. Is that a little turbulence? It seems to be climbing pretty well. Got a hell of a crosswind. About a 10-degree deflection to stay on course. It looks like we'll be at cruise in under, or let's say about 10 minutes from now. And then we'll do our initial descent prep just to know where our descent point is. And then we'll do some research. We'll look into some facts about the Delhi airport. And then about 40 minutes before arrival, we'll brief the rest of our arrival. Get our ATIS Get our charts. Actually see in the operating flight plan. So that the other plane, which I think is they're still at Delhi. Sorry, they're still at Mumbai rather. He was requesting a much lower flight level. So I just wanted to see. We're going to flight level 390. Is that the most favorable winds? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, the wind speeds aren't all that different. A bit better, a bit lower, but really marginal, honestly. it seems like we're settling in on this estimated arrival about 7:15. That's not including the approach we'll likely have to do. If only the ground controller's online. Like, we'll follow the ATIS, but I think we pretty much get to choose everything else. Yeah, the ATIS doesn't specify a star, but it does say runway 28 and runway 29 in use. So now we're jumping the gun a little bit, but let's take a look at the airport. Because they really have two runways that are 10 degrees deflected. Yeah, they do. They have 27, 28, and 29, all slightly pointed in different directions. So per our flight plan, we're coming in to runway 28, center one. And yeah, I guess once we exit runway 28, then they'll let us know what parking stand we're going to. But we'll be doing our own approach unless an approach controller comes on. And Mumbai Tower just came online, so controllers are starting to pop up in India right now. Saturday morning, I guess. Alright, we're now at our cruise altitude, so let's go ahead and start planning that arrival and figuring out when we're going to descend. So, per our flight plan, we're going to arrive via the DPass 5 Bravo arrival. DPass 5 Bravo, that's this chart here. Let's take a closer look. So from DPass, Akban, the 5 Bravos, there's a speed restriction at flight level 150, interesting. So we'll have to adhere to that. And then we start to slow down as we descend. And then it looks like from here we probably vector in to the runway. If there's any other guidance. Runway 28, and that is, okay, that's like the dedicated star for runway 28. So on the approach, ILS runway initial approach. approach. Alright, so from here... So these are all coming from different VORs. So is there a VOR on this map that's worth noting? No. Yeah, so see how the flight plan treats this when we load it in. My final approach, anything of note. So our initial approach fix, or I guess that's the final approach fix. In any case, we'll intercept the glide slope at 2140. I guess we can hit 2600 too, we'll just hit it early. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, but descent planning, that was the whole point of pulling that up. So, looking at the star, our first level is at Akban 150. So, come in here, put in a fix, Akban, and use our calculator here. Top of descent, that's our altitude now. We want to be at 15,000. We need, let's say, 80 miles. So we'll do an 80-mile radius. I can't quite see it yet, but our top of descent will show up as a circle on that map. Oh, and our friend from Mumbai managed to get in the air finally. Lots of difficulties there, but you know, it's a learning curve. This is not the easiest sim to pick up, especially if you're going to be using VATSIM. So, more power to anyone who is brave enough to give it a try. It is very intimidating initially, but honestly, the controllers are super nice for the most part. Kind of let them know that you're new and they're willing to give you help. It's a pretty awesome community, all in all. Alright, so since we've got some time in cruise right now, I'm going to do what I normally do and look up stats about the airports that we are flying to. On previous legs of this journey, I've looked up the histories of the various airports that we're flying into, and the stories that we uncover are pretty interesting most of the time. You know, like flying into Cairo, for example, you know, there's just so much history to like digest on a short cruise about the city of Cairo itself. But focusing on the airport, it allows you to also get a better sense of the country's aviation history. So it looks like the legacy airport, Palam Airport, was built during World War II as a Royal Air Force station, of course, while India was under English rule. But after the British left, it served as an Air Force station for the Indian Air Force. Expanded through the 1970s. And the old Palam Airport is now Terminal 1. It's kind of hard to decipher like what the terminals are here. But oh, Terminal 3. Oh, and Terminal 1. Or this is what remains of it. Ah, interesting. So, in 2006, they began operating 2 runways simultaneously, following a test run on runway 28 and runway 27. The initially proposed mode involving simultaneous takeoffs in westerly flow to increase handling traffic capacity caused several near misses over the west side of the airport, where the center lines of runway 28 and 27 intersect. The runway use was changed to segregate dependent mode in 2007, which was a few days after the deciding near miss involving an Airbus A330 and an Indigo A320. The new method involved the use of runway 28 for all departures and runway 27 for all arrivals. This more streamlined model was adopted during day hours until 2008. In 2008, they added their third runway, runway 29. Since 2012, all 3 runways are operated simultaneously to handle traffic during day hours. But only 28 and 29 are used at night. And they've approved the construction of a 4th parallel runway. So the airport continues to grow. But yeah, you can kind of tell, like 27 and 28, the center lines intersect pretty quickly. We were taking off westerly. It seems much safer to take off easterly, but I'm assuming for weather reasons, maybe western takeoffs are more common. Even today we're having to land from the east. And they're building 3 new terminals, terminals 4, 5, and 6. Who is contacting us? Who is this person talking to? I don't think he meant to communicate to us. This pilot is flying south, looks like to Bangalore from Mumbai. Alright, no worries. Doing a check on the kiddos on the daddy cam, and they are still fast asleep. And as soon as we get to Delhi, so will I. internal shots over here. That's the other person on the other side. That's pretty cool. Alright, that's enough sightseeing for now. Cool. Yep, so in about 5 minutes I think we'll do our star descent prep. Alright, so it looks like they're doing a new ATIS information on the hour. So when we do our descent prep, we'll look at the current ATIS, but then we may need to update our information during our approach. Oh, our friend is catching up to us. Because at his flight level, he's definitely getting more speed. Oh, he's also in a different aircraft. Well, maybe he'll complicate our approach, maybe he won't. We'll see. In any case, it is time. Let's prep our arrival there. So, first we'll program the box for our expected approach. So the DPOS 5 Bravo. I have ILS 28. DPOS 5 Bravo. Via... Good question. Via what? Is that an option? Let's check the chart. I guess it's asking like which VOR, if any. Do we need to fly the DME arc? I'd really rather not. But conceivably we'd be coming from the Sawcross VOR. Sawcross VOR is SCA, yeah. Although, is it? I think we're going to go well past the airport. So we'd be coming pretty much from the east, so is there an option to get us more direct in? Various initial approach fixes. Yeah, it's rather... Yeah, expect radar vectors at the end of the star. So I'm not going to do any, I'm going to do no via. No transition, insert. And let's just take a look at how that feels. Alright. Keep us Akron, and then these vector points. And then it's kind of like a base to final kind of deal. It's got 5 mile final. It's pretty tight. C128. F128, so it's back here. What is this arc? This is a, oh, it's a 14-mile arc, 12 miles on the final approach. I guess we could vector ourselves. Because when does it start? FS711. Yeah, we can fly in that heading for a little bit and then come around. Alright, so that's what we'll do. We'll pass FS711 until we're about 14 miles out. And we'll just circle to land from there. Cool. If control comes online, then we won't even need to worry about it. They'll just vector us in. Alright, so that is done. Let's check the VORs we might need, actually. Don't we need any for the star. Oh, we can put the Delhi VOR in. Yeah, because that's the distance is all measured to the Delhi VOR. So the rad nav, we'll put in DPN, Delta Papa November. And that final course, should we need it on the final approach, is 284. 284. Okay. Cool stuff. And then finally, performance. Let's go ahead and look at our ATIS as it stands now. Look at our arrival. Is that how that works? There we go. Oh wait, for our arrival. That's already selected. I see. I see. And send. Oh, wait for that message to come in. There it is. Let's check it out. So, information Charlie at time 6 Zulu. Expect ILS approach, landing departing runway 28, runway 29. That's as we've expected. Transition altitude 4,000. Oh, transition level 050. Okay. That's what we need. Cool. And here's the altimeter. Am I blind? It's fine. So there's everything published here but the altimeter. Anyway. There are other ways to get the altimeter setting. No worries. Print that information out. Very cool feature. And let's go ahead and program the approach. Yeah, there's no QNH setting there, so we'll just rely on this one. 1022. Write that down so we don't forget. Uh, 1022 and temperature is 10 degrees. It says wind is 0 at 0. Is that what we see here too? Yeah, 0 at 0. Goodness gracious. Transition level 5,000. Levels for descent. Altitude is for departure. And minimums. So we'll use radio minimums for class Charlie. We're not going to do an auto land, so I think we're just going to do an ILS. Guess it's a Cat 2. Yeah, so we'll do 100. Radio. Okay, so that is set. And we'll plan for low brakes. It's a pretty long runway. Make sure I've done everything I need to do in the descent prep. So check the weather, confirm landing performance, auto brake is required. We're going to do flaps full landing, set the flight plan, rad navs, performance. Distance to the runway, perfect. And set our TCAS to below, even though it's not functional in this version of the mod, but that's fine. Closer to our top of descent. Let's see the current arrival, a quarter past 7 UTC. So roughly half an hour. See those controllers in range yet? No, not yet. such a huge country. It's amazing. So we're at Nakok. This is where we're expecting to get some turbulence, pretty much for the remainder of the flight. Let's see if that comes to fruition. Alright, about 60 miles from our top of descent. So we'll start descent in less than 10 minutes. There might be a few bumps, but nothing terrible, it seems. This is pretty smooth. We're seeing a lot of wing flights. Our initial descent will be to flight level 150, so we'll just get that queued in. And confirm on the chart. Yep, 150 at lockball. And we'll start right when we get to this next waypoint, because we'll need some time to slow down as well, because I don't want to lose airspeed too early. Have a little bit of get there-itis, but I also want to sleep. It is almost 2 a.m. here in East Coast United States. Let's go ahead and start the descent. Actually, we'll do managed descent. That's fine. Thrust, idle, descent. That seems to be a healthy descent rate. And we have a pretty much direct crosswind right now, giving our ground speed a bit of a bump. check airport elevation, because I do think Delhi's a bit higher. Yeah, it's 800 feet, roughly, above sea level. Down we go. So as I was thinking about it, I think because the speed restrictions are so aggressive, we'll be at 190 knots by the time we get here. I think we don't need to fly past this waypoint. I think we can kind of do the dog leg per the McDo onto our final approach from there. About 60 miles from Akban, so I'm guessing about 8 minutes. In 8 minutes, yeah, that should be plenty of time to get down to 15,000 feet. And then we'll start slowing down. Still expecting to land at about 1/4 the hour. Definitely more mountainous here in the north of India. And I think we're getting some bumps. I'm gonna get that seatbelt sign on early. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, look at that. Definitely some turbulence. Just as the flight plan predicted. In a few minutes we'll request our new ATIS information, just to make sure we have the latest. Oh, that is bumpy. That would not be comfortable. Oh, looks like we've already slowed to 250, so I wonder if the other constraints are already in there. Yeah, oh yeah, it's going to follow the constraints for us. That's great. Is the flight plan accurate all the way through is the question. Because if there's a gap, it will speed us up. No, pretty much until the decel point. And we'll be already in approach phase by then anyway. No problem. That's very cool. Fly-by-wire team has done a fantastic job with the updates to the McDo over time. But that slowdown has added 4 minutes to our flight. So now we're going to land about 20 past. I was hoping to speed down our descent. Next time I'll set the airspeed myself. Those clouds are getting closer. The weather does seem to be very choppy on the way down. I think we're still looking good for our descent timing. Let's start planning ahead. Once we get down to 150, we'll want to get down to 10,000 feet. Oh wait, but that's for the, sorry. This is actually a bit confusing to read. Because if you look ahead, as we follow deepest 5 Bravo approach, the minimum there is 11,000 feet at this waypoint. So this must be for the 5 Delta Echo Foxtrot. So it's just a speed restriction next. Yeah, and that's reflected here, just a speed restriction. So we'll go from 15,000 and we'll want to be at 11,000 by the time we cross Delta Papa 502. And then 3,000 by that next one. Alright. Alright, so I think at this point, let's go ahead and request our ATIS. And we'll wait for that to come in. Alright, message is in. Alright, we now have information Delta, but nothing has changed from the looks of it. We'll print that, just so that we have the latest letter. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to manage descent to 3,000, and it should adhere to the altitude constraint. Fill that in there. Are we in range of the radios? Not yet. But the QNH has changed, 1021. Let's give this a shot. We'll go down to 3,000. We'll do manage descent. And it's a magenta alt. Looks like it's going to let us go as low as 8,000, which is interesting. That doesn't seem right. But it is keeping to the speed restrictions, so that's good. But we'll probably want to select 11,000 just to be safe. About 30 miles away from the airport. We still have ground online. Speed alt star. And it looks like the constraints are in there all the way to the final approach fix. So I think we'll try to go manage speed, manage altitude the rest of the way after this next waypoint. I'll just confirm it's a ceiling of 11,000. It is. Can't go below that. So at this point we'll do our 10,000 feet checks since we're pretty close enough. So we'll turn our landing lights. Seatbelts are on, we're on constraints, landing system, the rad navs are activated. Engine mode data is required, ECAM status is checked. Approach checklist. Briefing confirmed, ECAM status checked, seatbelts are on, bow ref is set, minimums are set, engine mode is selected as required. And once we begin our next descent, we'll go to local QNH. Oh, and there is the ATIS. So, and there is ground. So 126.4, let's just listen to it, just make sure we have the latest.
VR 2000. Runway 29er RVR 2000. Webcom. Visibility 1200. Runway 28 RVR 2000. Runway 29er RVR 2000. Mist. Temperature 10. 2.9er. QNH 1021.
1021.
Transition altitude 4,000 feet. Transition level 050. Advised aircraft type on first contact. Runway 27 available on request. Advised on initial contact. You'll have information Delta.
Alright, Delta it is. And round is 121.9. So just cue that up. Yep. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and manage descent. And flight level 3000. So it's going to blow through 8000. That's annoying. Seems to be skipping the next waypoint. Well, in any case, we should activate the approach phase because we're about to drop below green dot. Transition altitude 5,000, so we'll put that in. At this point, we'll put in local QNH. And 021. Just confirm that's correct. It is. Speed check to flaps 1. Start slowing down so we can lose this altitude. We want to be at flaps 2 before the turn. Speed check to flaps 2. Get some speed brakes out. Quite a bit of altitude left to lose. So I'm going to go into heading mode. Just until we bleed some more altitude. Alright, we'll start our turn heading 1-2. Gear down. Activate the approach phase.
2500.
Radio altimeter is alive. Ground spoilers are armed.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Star. Loke. Speed check, flaps 3. And flaps full. Econ memo, no blue. Landing checklist, cabin crews advised, auto throttles on, auto brake as required. It's going to be another low visibility landing, everyone. Delhi traffic, Air India 9084, 10-mile final for runway 28. Delhi traffic. Clouds are very pretty. Glide slope star. Glide slope. There's glide slope. All right. So we'll keep it on autopilot until we have clear visual of the runway.
One
1,000. Practically no wind, it's just no visibility either.
$500. 400.
Land. There's the runway.
300. 100 above. Minimum
Continue.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Reverse thrust. Spoilers. Decel. Alright, let's call ground.
Last station calling, unable to read EWB.
Let's get all these ready here. Switch disarmed. Pumps retracted. Delhi ground, Air India 9084, clear of runway 28 on Lima.
Air India 984, welcome to Delhi. Taxi to stand Alpha 9er via Papa November 7, November Charlie Whiskey 1.
Thank you so much. Taxi to stand Alpha 9 via Papa November 7 November, and then apologies, couldn't hear the rest of the instructions. Could you repeat?
Air India 984 taxi to stand Alpha 9er via Papa November Charlie Whiskey 1.
To stand Alpha 9 via Papa November Charlie Whiskey 1. Air India 984. Via Papa.
With the mic Alpha still negative, unable to read you.
I don't see Papa November anywhere. November 7, November. Okay, Charlie Whiskey 1. Okay, that's fine. Figure that out. Welcome to Delhi, everyone. That's fun. So we did download enhanced scenery for Delhi Airport. You can kind of see it by the enhanced taxiway markings on the ground, which is really nice. But we'll get a better look at the terminal when we get closer. Slow it down a bit. We are kind of gunning it. Alright, Charlie Whiskey 1, and then we'll want to see stands. Alpha 9. Okay, it'll be this next left. Alpha 11. Alpha 9 left. Where's the A3? Oh, I blew right past it, but it's all good. So we'll go ahead, start our parking brake, and we'd never start the APU, so I'll have to do that real quick. Wait for that to spool up. APU is available. Engine shut down. And seatbelt signs off. Delhi ground, Air India 9884 on the blocks at Alpha 9. Thanks again for the service tonight. Have a good day.
India 984, thank you for flying into Delhi. Have a great day. Hope to see you again. Bye-bye.
Alright, get our services going. And we'll start cleaning things up here in the cockpit. So we'll go ahead and turn fuel pumps off. Beacon can come off now. Strobes off. Okay. And we'll turn off the crew supply. Shut down the aiders. and start dimming the lights. And external power is available, so we'll go ahead and connect that. We'll shut down the APU. Assume passengers are already off boarding. And yeah, we'll shut down the radios. No longer need to squawk. Dim the lights. Okay, I think that's most of everything. So let's go ahead and assume that baggage is done. So let's get that cargo door closed. Is he gonna leave? No, we don't want them to come back. We want them to leave. Alright, well I'm just closing the door on him anyway. Alright, door's closed. Good. Okay. We'll go ahead and continue shutting down. And finally here, we'll turn the lights off. And we'll disconnect from external power. Turn the batteries off. And cold and dark. That's another flight in the bag, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It was really actually fun to have some ATC both on the departure and the arrival today. And yeah, next time we'll make our way out of India to Nepal, where we'll be heading on our way to Paru 2 flights from now. So looking forward to doing some challenging approaches with you all. Again, thanks for joining us. I am Mike November Whiskey, and have a good